So, the pantry. A decent supply of logs. I just hope the staff also get to make use of them with this weather. I wouldn't hope, but yeah. They're sleeping all in the same room? Abandoned clothes. A rather luxurious jacket, the initials read F. Felix Hagen. Are these scuffy boots his as well? Why would they be left here, though? Luggage? A woman that I assume must belong to the Major. The items I have found are most intriguing and require an explanation that I believe only the staff can give. I shall meet them in the pantry.
Detective, what can we do for you?
You can help me by telling the truth, and in the process, help yourselves.
Sorry, Detective. It's a bit late in the night for riddles.
It is no riddle, monsieur. If I do not receive the truth, you shall all be charged as accessories to murder.
Detective, I think maybe you have been locked in this house for too long. We have already...
You have told me a version, and now I require honesty.
Okay, can we make connections? Yes, we can.
I must act on thought and fact. I must take a different approach.
Honestly, I'm not sure what to connect.
Is there something I...
These two?
The pieces of the puzzle.
Okay. The Major would not have left a fine coat in the staff area. Someone must have worn it. More importantly, however, who wore the Major's clothes?
Order and method. That is the way. I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps... This will not get me any closer to my goal.
These two?
What a revelation!
The theory that the Major has been killed during dinner was nothing but a ruse. They are the staff. Why are the staff covering for the real time of death? Okay.
Monsieur Sterling, is there anything you would like to add to your story?
I'm not sure what you think I have done, Detective.
Let us not string out this charade any longer.
Can you explain medal belonging to the Major was amongst your belongings?
Oh, you found it. Thank you, Detective. I've been looking everywhere for it.
If I had lost a war medal, I would not stop until I found it.
It's not what you think. I was...
Exploiting a dead man's military achievements for your own personal gain?
Nothing of the sort. He asked me to clean them up. I must have dropped it into my pocket when I was putting them back. An honest mistake.
Never have I heard such a pathetic excuse to explain a stolen item in one's possession. I would expect a better lie from an infant. I cannot claim to be an expert, but I would presume a medal like that would be of quite some value.
I wouldn't know. Probably.
Your father was in the military for many years. That is what you told me.
He was.
And your family still keep his medals?
They were sold.
And why was that, monsieur?
Is my family on trial now, Detective?
Only you, monsieur. And I repeat my question.
Because we needed money.
Voila.
Mr. Sterling was well aware of the medal's value if it found its way into his belongings. You claim the Major asked you to clean his medals for display purposes?
No. He keeps them safe with some of his old military documentation.
Is that a typical job for the head butler?
He trusts me to do a good job. I told him I used to clean my father's, so he asked me to do the same.
And where does he keep these items?
In the storage room. I know where everything is, so it's just easier if I fetch them for him as and when he needs them.
I do not recall seeing any military memorabilia or keepsakes when I was in the storage room. Could there be another storage room he speaks of? The telephone call the Major received.
From his associate. I've already told you, Detective. I don't know who it was.
Do not worry yourself on such details now. I suppose they were lucky to have called when they did. Otherwise, they may not have gotten through at all, with the telephone lines being down as of yesterday.
Aye, Detective. Lucky, I guess.
Monsieur Sterling is no fool. I believe he is aware. I suspect him on something. Perhaps some carefully wondered questions are all that are needed for him to sleep up. You were the last to see the Major alive when you brought him the bottle of whiskey in his study, correct?
Whiskey?
You took a bottle of whiskey to the Major. You spoke with Monsieur Demire en route.
Aye, of course. It was a bottle he picked up from his last visit to Scotland. Rather smoky number from the Highlands. He was saving it for a worthy occasion. Drowning his sorrows must have been fitting enough.
At first he does not remember a bottle at all, and as if by magic he recalls the exact details.
Or was it the one from the West Coast? You'll have to excuse my memory, Detective. It's not what it used to be.
Are you happy here in Van den Bosch house?
It's certainly better than my last.
You are paid a fitting wage for the work that is asked of you?
I'm sure the lady of the house would not want me discussing it, but I should not complain.
That is not the most convincing answer, monsieur.
Between you and I, we all work very hard here, and it would be nice if we were rewarded for it.
It seems Monsieur Stern is trying to convince me, as he has himself, that his light-fingered actions are justifiable due to the petty wage he receives for his honest work.
Please don't go anywhere. If I require more information, I shall call on you again. Mademoiselle, I shall keep my questions brief.
I don't know what else I can tell you.
You have been honest with me so far. All I request is that you continue to do so.
Oui, detective.
I'm already aware of Mademoiselle's involvement with the blackmail, but I'm not sure if she is also connected to the Major's murder. Tell me what happened before you found the Major in his study.
It was frantic in the pantry. We were working hard to make sure everything was up to scratch.
Go on.
Then Liz burst in, asking for Mamore's help.
Her help with what, exactly?
I don't know. She took Liz to one side, and I was needed in the salon. We spoke just after that in the pantry.
You did not question what she needed help with?
I was too busy. I love Liz, but she sheds a tear at almost everything these days. Although, I have never seen her look so pale.
Mademoiselle Elizabeth still looked pale when I saw her earlier. I understand the amount of work that goes into keeping a house of this size running, but Madame cannot expect the staff to work if they are ill. Perhaps Mademoiselle Irana can clear up the reason for Elizabeth's panic.
Merci. I shall return if I have any further questions. Mademoiselle, I shall be as quick and precise with my questioning as possible.
Okay. What do you need?
My condolences on your brother's passing.
Merci. He was a good man. Taken too early.
Forgive me, mademoiselle, for not extending them earlier, but I was not aware of your relationship.
He was my only brother. And he died doing what he believed was right. If I ever get my hands on who took him from me.
I understand why she's so angry but for her brother to be taken from this world at such a young age and in such a violent manner. Violence can be met with violence, but I'm not sure Mademoiselle feels the same. Tell me about your brother's involvement in the riots at the factory.
You say the riots, but it was the strike he was part of. They started the riots, not the workers.
By they, you are referring to the security forces. They were brought in to keep the peace.
Security, huh? They were brought in to make an example of them. It was all peaceful until they arrived.
Why would they need to make an example?
So that the workers would stop rallying. No one is going to go on strike if they think they'll get killed. The security you talk of were armed and ready. The workers were pigs to the slaughter. What chance did they have?
It is obvious Mademoiselle is still upset about her brother's death, and rightly so. If the events were as Mademoiselle describes, I cannot comprehend how the security forces were able to get away with such a despicable acts of violence. Pour moi, Mademoiselle, I know I have spoken on this, we have spoken on this, but you took Ice to the Major, correct?
Yes.
This was before or after Archibald took him a bottle of whiskey.
Before.
You are sure?
It may have been after.
The whiskey is kept in the cellar with all the alcohol?
It is.
Then you must have noticed him going into the cellar and returning with a bottle through the pantry, no?
Yes, I suppose I did. It must have been before then.
It took only one question to Mademoiselle to doubt her own story. What I still cannot see is why the need for the lies. Tell me about Elizabeth yesterday.
What is there to say? Being locked away in the pantry, I don't see her for most of the day.
That may be, but she came looking for your help before dinner was served, did she not?
She wasn't feeling well, that's all.
And she came to you?
I told you, we are a family here. The girls come to Mama Reh if they have a problem, and I fix it.
When I saw her earlier, I must admit she was not looking herself. Perhaps I should check on her.
No! Just leave the poor girl. She'll be fine after another bowl of my homemade soup. She just needs her rest.
I'm sure Mademoiselle ran as loving mother figure to the staff while away from the families, but her eagerness to keep me from seeing Mademoiselle Elizabeth again does not sit comfortably.
Merci, mademoiselle. That is all for now.
Okay, we've got new info. Or we did not. Okay, weird. Apparently we did not. We can make connections. 2 more.
Come, my little grey cells. We must think.
Well, again, not sure what to connect here, honestly.
I must take a different approach if I am to... I cannot see the logic in this.
Of these two?
Come, my little grey cells. We must think...
Of these two?
Magnifique.
I should have known at first glance that these belongings belonged to a member of the staff, but who? Staff member's boots.
Order and method. That is... This will not get me any closer to my...
Honestly, this deductive part, like this one here, confuses me. I don't understand what the game wants from me, but again,
I must
have,
act on thought and fact.
2 more connections. Since when?
Things are beginning to become clearer.
How can either of them forget something so important from only the day before? Archibald and Rihanna unsure of their stories, and was here someone wore Major's coat, staff member's boots.
I should not be surprised by my own...
A staff member dressed in the Major's clothes and took his position out in the snow for the guests to see. Why would they do this? Staff member impersonated the Major.
Is there something I am not seeing?
Staff?
This will not get me any...
Well, it can be then anyone. It doesn't have to be a man at this point.
Come, my little grey cells. Some would say a lucky guess.
Both Archibald and Hannah played the parts very well, but is until they became complacent. Why do the staff feel they need to fabricate the stories? Archibald and Hannah fabricate the story.
Another success.
I almost had no relay their stories back to them both. I obviously cannot trust a word they have said. Why are the staff hiding the truth from me? The staff hiding the truth? Staff may be
Things are
involved.
beginning to become...
It is a revelation I had not expected. The staff were involved in the murder. While young Inge is guilty of her own crimes associated with the blackmail, it is Monsieur Stella and Mademoiselle Rihanna that have been an integral part in covering up and obscuring the truth of how Major was killed. Okay, we're done. The staff were already suspicious to begin with, but this confirms their involvement. Are all the staff members involved? Okay, now we have to figure out who. I am close to revealing the truth about the Major's murder, but I must understand the roles that each and every person involved playing before the final puzzle is solved. Okay. Archibald, stack the phone. Inge feels disconnected from her peers. Elizabeth looked while coming downstairs.
I must
No?
act on thought and fact. Some would say a lucky guess. I would say...
I cannot imagine the pain they have felt losing Luke. His memory will live in their hearts, on their hearts. Elizabeth and Rihanna both grieveful look. Archibald staged the phone call.
Is there something?
No.
I cannot see the logic in this.
Yeah, me too.
Perhaps.
But I'm just trying.
Order and method. That is the... The pieces of the puzzle are finally...
I'm confident Inge isn't part of the cover-up that has clearly been a focus for the other staff. Inge not involved in the murder. Elizabeth... Yeah, there was something with this.
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover... Another success. I never...
Elizabeth looked pale and the other members of the staff were busy with their duties. She must have found the body. But why did she play a part in the murder? Elizabeth found the body. And one more connection. This.
What a revelation!
All of her duties are primarily focused in the kitchen and pantry. I don't recall seeing her. Rihanna wasn't seen after Elizabeth found the corpse. Archibald staged the phone call. Archibald's acting skills came into play to cover for a member of the staff, but who? Archibald was covering for a staff member.
Is there something I am not seeing? Come, my little grey cells. We...
I don't know.
This will not get me any closer to...
Okay.
I should not be surprised by my own skills.
Impersonating the Major was Rihanna's role in the plan. Why it was necessary, I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure of yet. Why did she feel the need to cover for Elizabeth? Rihanna wasn't seen.
Order and method. That is the...
Rihanna was covering for Elizabeth?
Another success. I never...
The staged phone call was Archibald's assignment. He went to great lengths to protect Elizabeth, but why did he feel the need to cover for Elizabeth? Well, young Inge is guilty of her own crimes. Yep. Well, we've done that. I now have all the pieces of the puzzle. I must return to my room and place them together until the result reveals itself. It is time for my little grey cells to go to work. I am so close to uncovering the truth. Well, that's all we've been doing the whole time, but okay. Oh, whoa, okay. Rihanna was covering for Elizabeth. Archibald staged phone call to cover Elizabeth.
Some would say a lucky guess.
How could I have allowed this to slip through my grasp? Elizabeth is the murderer. Elizabeth is the murderer. That's it? I cannot believe I did not see this, blinded by my own trust. When I look back now, the clues were there, staring me in the face. I spent my time chasing connections between the guests. Their motives and agendas were more than enough to raise suspicion, but while distracted by them, I failed to notice the one absent member of the household. What I still cannot grasp is why. I promised myself that after that fateful day in the capital I would not let my judgment steer me adrift, but once again it is I left to look in the fool. There is nothing more that can be done tonight. I must at least try to rest my head in preparation for confronting Mademoiselle Elizabeth in the morning.